Good evening and welcome to episode 16 of Star Wars Culture Live, a fairly new podcast, a few months old, focusing on Star Wars excitement and connection, your escape pod for hyperspace buzz and fandom fixes. I wrote this and I say it every time and I still don't have it memorized. As always, I am Ian and this is Marty, and this is where the fun begins. Instead of the negativity you often find on the Star Wars side of the internet, we want to talk about the things we love about Star Wars, how it enriches our lives, the community, the culture, the fans, the media, anything at all. So as always, throughout the show or afterward, if you're watching or listening later, if you have anything for us, reactions, questions, requests, suggestions for future segments, anything at all, throw them up in the comments and we will see what we can do. And don't forget to check us out on all the socials. It's in the description. At SW Culture everywhere. Sorry, at SW Culture Live. I'm a good host, guys. I'm a good podcast host. At SW Culture Live. It's the same everywhere now. And on audio podcasts too. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. But as usual, we're going to start with some fun facts about each host, me and Marty, to help you get to know us a little bit better each week. So, Marty, I know you have freaking awesome updates from this weekend. Take it away.
Yes. So, over the weekend, I had attended a little comic convention called GalaxyCon Columbus up in Columbus, Ohio. And it's a 3-day convention, but the one man that I went there to see was only there for one day, and it happened to be the day I was going. And that man is none other than Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, this it's been a very crazy day with him. Like, the schedules were all crazy. You actually have to go to a booth to get registered. If to buy a ticket, or if you already had a ticket, go get it scanned to get a time to go stand in one line, and then get moved into another line, and then go behind a curtain to another line just to get his autograph.
Yeah,
but it was very weird, very confusing to everybody. Like, we had the 3:30 time slot, and let's just say I did not get my autograph till about 8, 9, but we stood in line at around 12. So, if not, maybe a little bit more than that. We stood in line for literally the whole day, basically.
Wow. Yeah.
Just to get him. I had to actually step out of line, and luckily they gave me a VIP little pass afterwards, because I went and got this, it'll appear, professional photo with Hayden. I'm not going to say how much I paid for it, but it's well worth it. It's well worth it, I'll tell you that.
That's pretty awesome.
So I finally went back to the line, got the autograph, and let me see. Pull up my screen just a little bit more so I can see it. Got it right here. I got it with my favorite movie of him and Attack of the Clones. Very awesome. I told him that it was my favorite movie, and he seemed genuinely surprised by that. He was just like, "Wow, really?" Yeah, he's like, he actually said, "Mine too." I'm not sure if that meant I'm not sure if that actually because he was just saying that to be saying that, or it is his favorite movie, or it's because, that's his debut movie.
So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's the one that got him on the map and stuff. Yeah.
Right. And then last but not least, I got this baby.
Yeah. Is that like a Wookiee one?
No, this is actually, I'm not sure what it is. It's a different kind of styled lightsaber. My wife saw it first, and I liked it because it has this knight right here.
Nice. Oh yeah, I didn't see that was at it. Like I saw the shape. It looked almost like a baseball. I didn't
Right.
see the knight helmet. Yeah, that's cool with like
Yeah.
the flowering and the plant looking stuff on it.
Yeah, it's very like medieval style, and I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, that's unique.
Cost, yeah, yeah, well worth the money of this too.
So you said GalaxyCon?
Yep, GalaxyCon Columbus. They actually have different GalaxyCons in different other states, like North Carolina for
Yeah,
like
I was wondering how I can't remember the closest one I've seen because I've definitely seen GalaxyCon, but I haven't seen.
yeah.
I'm not sure where it was that I saw like the city. Maybe it was DC or something.
They have Richmond, Virginia.
That's probably it. That's probably what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Nice. Mine is a little less exciting. I definitely didn't get to meet Hayden Christensen. But a few weeks ago, I said my fun fact was that I got approved to join the 501st. So this past weekend, I did my first troop in costume, which was it was a parade. It was a Christmas parade. Um, Not a huge 501st showing. Like all three groups were invited: Rebel Legion, Mando Mercs, etc. And so there were a lot more Mercs and Rebels there than 501st. But we had so I just took some photos. This is me, obviously in the Mando. I threw Grogu on there. Just why not? The kids love him. And there were some sweet costumes. This was my favorite. They had Emphas Nest from Solo, the Solo movie. And I know this looks badass in the picture, but like up close, it's even crazier. Like those are
Mhm.
all like they looked like real bones. Like and the thing was
Oh,
the weapon
nice.
was it was crazy. He must have been even hotter than me. Um, yeah, that was the other thing. I thought it was going to be really cold, and I was excited because I don't know if you can tell from this, but it's great for cold weather, not great for warm. And then the high was like 60. I was like, we walked like 2 miles and in that in 60-degree weather. It's nonsense. But yeah, we had it was in Maryland, and this guy shows up to cons sometimes as Captain Maryland. You can't
Nice.
tell from this photo, but he's got Old Bay Spice like grenades looking thing on his belt. Um, and there was a this is an E-wing pilot like from Ahsoka. And
Oh,
then
okay.
obviously Princess Leia. There's a Twi'lek Jedi back there. I wish I'd gotten a photo with him. His costume was awesome. His face paint he looked like a Twi'lek. It was crazy. There were a couple of them. The head tails looked so real. But
Yeah.
he said they were really
Anyone who,
lightweight.
huh. Yeah, anyone who cosplays as a Twi'lek, props to them because that is tough stuff right there. Getting all face
Yeah,
painted
right.
up and having to match your face paint to the Leicu that you're wearing.
Yeah, and he said the it actually comes off pretty easy. Like with the I guess makeup technology nowadays, it's pretty easy to just remove. He said it's not really that big of a deal, but that was cool. It was good to finally meet people, get into the event, see what it's like doing it. The parade was a lot of stop and start. I think there were some issues with I don't know, things maybe being too tall for the wires in the downtown area or something, but they it was pretty cool. The audience, the crowd, like not everybody knows who Mando is. I think they recognize Star Wars, they recognize Princess Leia and Jedi with lightsabers. They recognized all those. And it's less people who recognize Mando, but the ones who do recognize Mando and Baby Yoda especially, they're like, "Oh!" Like the excitement is so big, and they would run out and like try and take photos, and it was great.
Nice.
So
It's like there's
that was
a
cool.
tier of people. It's like you got your big fans, then you got the fans who kind of like know some of the TV shows and movies, and then you just got the people who are like, yeah, I know of the movies and
Hmm.
things like that. So luckily, you're
And
able to find some of that middle ground.
yeah, and the kids really loved seeing Baby Yoda, Grogu on my little bag there. They were they were pumped. Even like some parents who didn't even know the show, I could tell, were just like pointing out to their kids, like, it's Baby Yoda, it's the guy, you like him. I got a few. Is that Darth Vader? People were like, no, that's not Darth Vader. Or I got some Boba Fett, and I was like, But the last thing I'll say is that I don't know what it. I kept smiling for photos when people were like, hey, can I get a photo? And they'd come up to me, and I would smile. I'm wearing a helmet. I don't need to. You're not going to see my smile. They were just like, all right, can I take a photo? And I was like, why? I don't need to do that. I was smiling like at the crowds as I was walking. I'm wearing a helmet. They can't see me. I should nod or wave. I was doing that stuff, but I'm like, hey, you don't need. Just relax your face. Like, why spend the energy? Whatever. I just
kind of reminds me of Spaceballs. Like, how many times I gotta wait? You have to wear that helmet. How I know you're not making faces under that thing.
Yeah, exactly. I was making faces under that thing, like anyone's gonna see him. I don't know why it just didn't click the whole time. Like, there was never a moment where I was like, oh, I don't need to be doing this and I can relax. It never clicked. I would acknowledge it and then I'd forget it 10 seconds later. Whatever. Anyway, I think we did pretty well on host facts today. I think there was a couple pretty epic weekend we just had. Epic Star Wars weekend. Moving on to news that doesn't have to do with us. We got a few little news updates here. One of them is Jeremy Allen White is apparently playing a Hutt in The Mandalorian and Grogu. Most people know him from The Bear. I never saw it. I heard it was really good.
Really good show.
He is. You do like it? You've seen it? Good show.
Yep. Good show.
All right, cool. Watch the Bear. I will try. No promises. But he's apparently playing Jabba's son. We did see Jabba's son in the first movie of the Clone Wars when Ahsoka and Anakin and Obi-Wan rescued him for Jabba. The character is apparently known as Rotta, Rotta. So I don't know what that's going to look like, but that could be fun. And I don't know if Ahsoka will be in the Mando Grogu movie at all, but if she is, then that could be a nice little reunion.
Some people speculated that bringing Rotta in is like a doorway to having Boba and Fennec in it.
That does make sense too, because Rotta, like they just had the Hutt situation on Tatooine on Mos Espa. So if the twins go back to Nal Hutta and explain what happened, maybe Rotta is like in the powerful position that Jabba is, and maybe Rotta's not happy about how that went down.
Yeah.
But I thought last I heard Tamara Morrison said that Boba is not coming back. That could be misleading, but I thought he said that, like, because of how the Book of Boba Fett was received, that he's not reappearing.
Yeah, I mean, of course you're going to say that. You're under NDA, so you're not really sure what's for true or not.
That's fair. So, as always, just take it with a grain of salt, I guess. Other news, what's his name? Johnny Coyne returns for Mandalorian and Grogu. He is one of the members of the Shadow Council. I don't think he has a name yet, but I believe this is him right over here. But his character apparently also appears in The Mandalorian and Grogu. So there's something going on. We know, I believe that I can confidently say that Gideon did not survive the end of The Mandalorian season 3. 4? Season 4.
3.
Season 3. Sorry. I feel like I can confidently say that he's no longer in the picture, so I wonder if this guy or somebody is one of the ones who stepped up, took his place, or maybe they just happened to only interact with him, or I don't know. maybe they're all coming back, but they just dropped this little nugget of info for us. So not a whole lot to go on there, but two other pieces of news. Marty, you said Diego Luna is appearing at Star Wars Celebration in Japan.
Yep, it was, I think, either confirmed yesterday or earlier this morning. But yeah, Diego Luna is the latest of celebrities to join the long list. Well, not very long, but the list of celebrities going to Celebration, which makes sense considering, Andor is literally right around the corner from Celebration.
Yeah, it's just like what, a couple weeks after ish.
I think
I didn't do the math, but
I can't remember now. But it's very close, so you know that he's going to be there to talk about it and have everybody there watch at least the first 2 episodes.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that'll be cool. What a cool place that would be to watch the second season of arguably the greatest Star Wars show that exists. To me, I think that's the best show.
Right.
And then there was one other piece. What was the last piece of news?
I guess
it was a small one.
Oh, James Mangold
has
Mangold. Confirmed that he and I got his name. Where is it?
Bo Nix.
Just Bo Williman are still writing the Dawn of the Jedi movie. He was interviewing for his most recent movie that just came out or is coming out, and they kind of brought it up. Like, yeah, we're still working on it. I haven't turned in even the first draft yet, but we're still working on it.
Okay, cool. I'm glad to hear that's not dead. Is Dawn of the Jedi, is that like the birth of all Jedi?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like way literally the birth of the Jedi Order. At least for canon purposes, he said he'd go that far. He said he pitched it to Lucasfilm for that time period because in canon it hasn't been explored, so therefore it kind of gives him like this real blank slate to work with.
I love it. I want to see, and like, you're not going to make any silly connections to the Skywalkers at that point. Like, that's not even. Yeah, well, I like it.
You might get the space walkers that all Thrawn species talk about.
Oh yeah. Ugh. Okay. Yeah. That'll. Yeah. I mean, I'm loving Skeleton Crew. That's a story that's seemingly unconnected so far. It's just its own little thing. So I'd love to see a movie about how the Jedi started. Did they predate the Sith, right? The Sith didn't exist until Jedi were already a thing.
That is correct. It was the Jedi first, and then the Sith came later on because they feel like they should have this power. In more.
Yeah, Sith Jedi fell, like the fallen Jedi became the Sith. All right, cool. All right, so that's our news. Let us know if we missed anything or what you're excited about. But for now, we're going to move on to On This Day in Star Wars history. As always, take it away, Marty.
All right, slow computer. All right, today, what is today? December 11th.
Yes.
There we go. December 11th, 1980. The Empire Strikes Back opens for the first time in Holland. Not very big news, but hey, it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Because
when did it open in like what month in the U.S.? Was it November?
I think it was May.
Oh.
Yeah, I think for the longest time, George did everything kind of in the May for like the big blockbuster stuff. It wasn't until Disney took over that they're like, we'll do everything Star Wars in December, except for Solo, because they decided to throw that movie under the bus. Not going to go any further than that. But yeah, they used to be like in the May region.
Yeah.
So like early mid May.
Yeah, that this poster that you have here, I'll hide this. This poster that they're advertising for that. I have a poster right up here in my podcast work zone that has the a bunch of posters in all different languages from the original trilogy released around the world. Like there's some Japanese, Italian, I think there's one in, it looks like Hebrew. But that one, I see that exact poster up on the top right up there. It's just English, nothing exciting, but I'm sure that's one of the ones they used. Cool. Yeah. Empire Strikes Back. One of the obviously one of the top favorites of all time among Star Wars fans. It's if you're rating it with everything, it still beats the other two generally. And then if the top original trilogy choice for a lot of people. We're gonna move on to my little segment. It's called the Dad Joke of the Week, and this is one of the silliest ones, and I love it. Where does Palpatine keep his Sith armies? In his sleeveys. So stupid. I love it so much. It's just so silly. Like you're like, oh, what's the pun? What's the pun? There's no pun. We just made a word sound funny. It's so good. After that little cringe, let's move on to the main event. Skeleton Crew episode 3. And before we go any further, we have to do a little spoiler alert because we don't want anybody freaking out. Like we're gonna talk about the latest episode of Skeleton Crew. So if you haven't seen it yet, pause this video, come back to it. But pause this video and then go see go watch the 3rd episode and then come back and hang out with us while we chat about it. So I'm just gonna do it one more time because it's awesome. So spoilers ahead for Skeleton Crew episode 3. All right. So I think what we're gonna do each week now, I think what we're gonna start out with is an Easter egg roundup. So each episode, it seems like they're delivering nice little fun Easter eggs that connect to the rest of the Star Wars universe. So Marty is going to give us a little rundown. I found some photos and things to with them. So Marty, what you got? Easter egg roundup.
Actually, I think you have most of the Easter eggs kind of laid out when we're talking about it pre-show. I was sitting there watching this. I was like, why am I having a tough time today to find these Easter eggs? It wasn't until
sorry, go ahead.
As I say, it wasn't actually until later on I caught some Easter egg stuff. And of course, I kind of cheated a little bit with this one. I went to StarWars.com and there's like a trivia gallery, which was kind of nice, but it's kind of nice to know and interesting how this one will come up in the future. But Crimson Jack, that name, we'll talk a little bit more later, but that name was first introduced in the original Marvel Star Wars line back in the, I think, late 70s, early 80s, somewhere in there. And then reintroduced to canon as part of the Halcyon Legacy miniseries comics. Halcyon and he's a pirate. He's a pirate with red hair and a red beard.
That's not Jude Law. No. At least not right now. So yeah, Crimson Jack. Interesting. So it was a name, and the Halcyon, those comics took place when?
It actually spreads out. Like the main story is set during the sequel trilogy timeline, but they actually tell stories across each era. So like the first one was during the High Republic, then the Clone Wars, and then the original trilogy, and then I think some of the sequel trilogy era.
So this could be like a Dread Pirate Roberts situation, where there was a Crimson Jack in the High Republic era, and then there was a Crimson Jack right after the fall of the Empire, and then there was a Crimson Jack in the sequel trilogy era. What if he's just like passing down the name?
Well, this one, Crimson Jack, only appeared in one issue
Oh,
of that series. I'm actually looking it up now as we speak. I'm trying to figure out which one
nice,
it is.
nice.
Because I want to know if it. I got to double check because I want to know if it's a name that
We can
Jude
just look at Jude
Law,
Law's smile while you do that.
right? It's like, did he take that name from this guy or vice versa? Uh, it looks like he was part of the uh First Order Resistance War. So this guy is way after
Okay.
Jude Law.
So this guy could have taken the name Crimson Jack from if Jude Law, obviously, is Crimson Jack, then he could have taken that name, or maybe, I mean, unless Jude Law is living to be hundreds of years old, or I don't know. I mean, I don't know how exactly what, I guess it could be, because I mean, Han and Leia and them are still alive, so they could be setting up a thing.
Possible.
Cool. The Easter eggs I noticed were all just little visual things, like for example, when Jude Law, what's his actual character name? Jod Na Nawood? Jod Wa
Yeah,
Nawood?
Jod Not Wood, or what is it, like Silvo, as
Yeah,
the
Captain
pirates call him,
Silvo
Salvo?
was this pirate's name, and that's another thing. Yeah, we'll get to. I don't think I was 110% sure until they said that he escaped from the brig. But anyway, he does a thing in the when they're escaping from the prison in the beginning, where there's two guards, and they need to cross a thing, just like Obi-Wan needs to get across here, and he does a thing supposedly with the Force. You hear the sound of what normally constitutes the Force moving. We just watched it again like a couple hours ago. I just watched it again with the kids, and you hear the sound of what normally constitutes as the Force moving, and then there's a noise over there, like over here behind the stormtroopers, and the guards turn and look at it, and then he's able to cross, just like Obi-Wan in this scene from the original. So cool little Easter egg there. I was like, he did the thing. But also, like, I don't know how you randomly improvise a trick like that if you're not Force sensitive. Like, he's obviously not a Jedi, but I think he may be Force sensitive. Like, he is the exact age of someone who got turned away from the Jedi Temple, or didn't get chosen to be a Padawan and had to get kicked out. Which my wife and I were talking about that the other day. That's pretty messed up. Uh, we'll get there anyway. That's one Easter egg I found. Another one. You had this one when
Oh
he
yeah.
wires to get out of the prison. It looks exactly like this. He's just hacking. He has wires out and he's just hacking in. And I guess it's not like an unusual thing to see in Star Wars, someone hacking their way into a door. Like
No,
droids
I
do
think
all
it
the
was
time.
the camera angle set directly exactly like that. His back
Yep.
to it. And
Yep. It was like he was, and it was on the right, and it was filming from this angle. It was exactly the same. Yeah, you're right. So there's that. Obviously the B1 battle droid, that was hilarious. Did we win? Like, bruh, you're like, you missed a war and a half, dude. And then the last one was this, I believe they call it the gatekeeper. This situation where there was a doorknob, like you ring the doorbell or whatever, and then this droid arm looking thing came out, and she was talking to him through it. It looked exactly like this. It was same brand. Like, this company is obviously pretty
yeah.
far reaching. So that was pretty fun. I enjoy seeing things, and I will never get tired of watching X-wings fly. Like, in the originals, in the sequel trilogy, in the Mandalorian, when it's just Rangers troop patrolling around. In this one too, I was like, please don't destroy those X-wings, kids. Like, you don't need that. Luckily, they're weak ass lasers just bounced off the X-wing shields. So I was like, oh, okay. Also, props to the X-wings for not shooting back with children on board. Like he said, he was like,
Yeah,
it's too dangerous.
they actually, and I think this was actually another one of those trivia things I saw on Star Wars because I was kind of curious. But when you see them shoot, it's blue and not usually red. So I was like, okay, that's different. So I went and did a little bit of the research, did the little Google Star Wars thing, the trivia thing on the
Ion,
website
right?
said, yeah, it was they changed all their forward weapons to ion, so it's like everything's set to stun and not kill,
Yep.
basically.
Yep. The you can do that. I like that. You can do that in Star Wars Squadrons. You can set it. It does for an X-wing. I don't think it really makes sense to do that, but there were all kinds of metas that we were doing team tactics and stuff. But you can actually, if you want, you can set your main laser cannons to ion so that it won't actually do damage to the hull, but it'll take care of the shields and then disable the ship. And so that was cool. I didn't know that was a thing, but it's cool that now you can you've seen that happen in canon.
I think they're doing it because I think they're doing it because the New Republic's trying to demilitarize, so therefore they don't want to get all kill with everything.
Yep. I think you should maybe have at least one. Just keep your proton torpedoes in there.
Right. Something.
I hope Ion Cannon has talked about these ion cannons.
If Matthew's watching, he might.
So anyway, that's the Easter eggs. Let's go into it. We kind of already started, but what were your reactions to this episode?
I thought it was fun, kind of cute, little moments. I'm liking where the story's kind of going. It's building up to something pretty big. We're already 3 episodes in. Really left you on that cliffhanger at the end of this one. So I'm looking forward to seeing where episode 4 goes. I want to know
me if I told you.
Oh yeah, and I love Kim, our new.
Oh yeah, she was great. The way they were building it up. It's like I thought it was going to be somebody we knew. Like my two guesses were either Maz from the sequel trilogy, which to be frank, I thought Maz, that's a perfect role for Maz. Like I know she runs a tavern or whatever, but she's exactly the type of person to keep old maps and things and just have things. Like that's exactly the role I have planned for her. That lady was just Owl Maz, Cat Owl Maz, and either that or the lady from Bad Batch that they worked for a while. The green lizard lady. I don't remember her name.
Starts with an S. I can't remember now.
It'll come to me
later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really thought it was going to be one of those two. But I also really liked my stepdaughter. Specifically, really liked Kim flying around with maps and props to her for just starting a fight with Jude Law when he's like 10 times as big as her. Like, my God, she's just like, no, and just attacks him and like holds her own for a little bit until he's like, no, you're a little bird. Like, get away from me. But I love how she's trying to take care of the kids and keep them safe from him. And that was cool.
Yeah. I don't know how we plan on going through this. Like, we could start from the beginning, work our way towards that, because I kind of wanted to talk about him, Jude Law's character, just a little bit more about things we're trying to learn about this character.
Yeah, just start at the beginning. What's the beginning? What, they were in the prison, right?
Yep. So brig. They just broke out of the brig. They're trying to get through the corridors. Jod using his fancy Jedi mind tricks and stuff like that. They finally make it back to the ship, only for him to have to go back out to grab SM-33. First, he meets a couple of droids trying to look for him. One of them being that B1 battle droid that you talked about earlier, which I can't go. I can't say anything about seeing a B1 battle droid ever on anything, just because I love those those guys. Their comedic effect they
Yep.
have. Um,
It's like the base, like cheap. You're just spending on cheap droid parts. It's like trying to save money. Just it's quantity over quality.
yeah. But he finally gets SM-33, throws him back onto the ship. Uh, after he meets, I can't remember that alien's name. That's like,
Um.
he's like,
His
you were a
old
good
crewmate.
captain.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then like, he comes out being shot at in one of those little pods, taxis. And I don't know, that seems a little suspicious to me. I feel like something's up with that part. I don't know. I feel like it was all staged just to make a good show for the kids,
Hmm.
but it just happened to be overheard by the new captain.
Yeah.
But
And also, like,
yeah,
did he stun that guy, his old crewmate? Because if his crewmate you saw how heavy that droid was. Like, he's not. If guards are shooting at him, he's not making it out with
yeah,
carrying that droid. So I don't know how he got from discussing things with that droid or with that old crewmate to the space pod, the little bubble taxi.
yeah.
Ah, I just knocked my ring light over a little bit. All right,
Uh-oh.
good. Yeah, I also like what do we think about? We almost started to touch on it, but what do we think about Jude Law and his Jedi ness? Like, it's clear he's not actually like a Jedi.
Right. I'm still on the fence, thinking that he's a con artist, but I would glad to be wrong about it, just because the kids did mention like all the seek the ways that person could fake being a Jedi, which I thought was kind of funny. They're like string, very small
Yeah,
string,
magnets.
magnets,
Um,
mirrors.
yeah. Uh, I was looking at that the second time around when I was watching with the kids. It's not string for the keys because if it was string for the keys, you'd see where the string would be hanging, and you can't really see that with the way the keys are moving. So if it's some weird kind of magnet, sure, I get that. If it's, I don't know, but that and like improving this thing, the force camouflage or whatever he was doing, improving that would not be easy. I don't know how he would set that up to make a noise and then face and like I said, it sounded like the force was moving.
Right, because
Um,
it sounded like it was moving with the keys in the second episode.
yeah. So like it feels like it's there. So I feel like it's not. I feel like maybe my best guess is that he either is force sensitive and just never got chosen and trained, like, but he just knew that he could like do stuff and he used it to become a pretty, I guess, good pirate until that one thing happened, the mutiny. But
Yeah,
and then uh, or that he like started his training. Maybe he was young when Order 66 happened and he escaped or something, or because I can't tell. He doesn't want to hurt the kids. He just wants money. So like he almost kind of has some sort of moral code, I think.
Right. I feel like,
Maybe.
I mean, maybe he could have been just like Kanan, except he didn't have the Hera and the rest of the Ghost Squadron to kind of like keep his morals kind of on the good side. So he's
Yeah.
doing everything Kanan would do after Order 66, but just go down that rabbit hole spiral of pirating.
Yeah. And he doesn't have a big thing that he's fighting for, like Kanan has the rebellion. And yeah, I don't know. He was about to shoot that owl cat lady, and he did
He
destroy
thought
all her
about it.
equipment so
He
that
thought
no
about
one could
shooting her.
follow. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so they get away and they make it to I wanted to say they're as this seems like a good time. So they're on the ship, right?
Mhm.
As uh as a person with kids in the house again, there are little things here and there that like just kind of remind you throughout the show that the kids are kids. Like there's that scene in the ship where she's like, I'm not even tired. And then it cuts immediately to a picture of her passed out. Like, that is exactly what toddlers and kids do. They're like, no, I don't want to go to bed. And then it's amazing. That was perfect. Another one, they were playing with the, what was the tool they were playing with? I wrote it down. Another one was that another one was that they were playing with the cargo lift, like it was a big claw, and one of them was riding it, and that's totally what they would do, like what kids would do. They're like, "Oh, we can play with this." It's like, dude, that's
Yeah.
not a toy. Um, and I wrote down that there was a part where Neil was rolling down the hill. Like, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have written it down if it wasn't like cute and kid like. So I'm guessing he had the option to walk down the hill and just decided that rolling was more fun, which yeah, I mean, I get that. Especially if you're like a kid and Neil shaped. That's probably really fun. But I like those little nods where the kids are like the show is like, "Hey, by the way, these are children. These are literal children."
Yeah. um, I feel like SM. Let's. I'm gonna go back to where they're in the ship. You know how Jod saved SM-33, but the whole trip to the moon, SM-33 is very very suspicious of Jod. Like he like he kind of knows something that he's hiding. Like, because I liked when he was kind of threatening Jod a little bit. Then he walks
Oh yeah.
away, saying something, and then it just keeps it on Jod, and then turns back, and you hear SM-33 repeat himself, and then
Yeah.
slowly into the shadows. I was
I
like,
yeah, that was really
yeah,
funny. It was really funny. Especially when he was like, "Mark my words and mark them well. They are definitely from somewhere." I was like, "Why do we need to mark those words, Smee? Wait, that was not an important thing you just said." I did think that it was notable. They made a big deal of showing us that every time someone mentions at Adden to Smee, I'm just calling him Smee. I don't feel like saying
that
SM-33.
works.
Anytime they mention at Adden to him, he says the exact same line about it. He says, "Can't say I remember an at Adden," and he just says it the same way, with the same tone, with the same like maybe it's like a just a droid thing, but it's almost like he has that built in to respond about at Adden. Um,
There, like
like
there's
maybe he
something
knows
blocking.
about it. Yeah, it's a little sus that it's the same exact inflection and the same exact group of words every time he mentions it.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that too. It was like it sounds the exact same way. And the kids, I guess they didn't pay too much mind, but like, yeah, you just said that.
Yeah, they just like they notice it too. They were like, "Yeah, we know." Um,
I mean, that's where they found me. So like he had to have known at some point. So
Right, he's
I
there.
get.
Like, does his droid memory not show like his location for the last however many years?
I mean, the ship could have crash landed
Yeah,
and
through
the
the
circuit
barrier.
through the barrier, fried his circuits or something.
There's so many mysteries.
Yeah.
So
And speaking
curious.
of the ad mysteries, we're talking to the parent. When the parents were talking, I think it was funny that they're all, I guess, now starting to question how the system works. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're all." Well, a few of the parents are like, "Yeah, we're all analysts," and then you got the mother of Fern, and then Wim's dad, who are two different things. But they're like, "What does this mean?" And then they're all like, "Don't worry, we're the kids are all right. They're gonna be fine. The droids will find them." The droid walks in. We can't find them. They're out the
Yeah,
barrier.
they're off world, and our leader, is not gonna do anything to help. Like, we can't risk contact. So, yeah, more mysteries about Ad-Adden. Like, why can't you risk contact? What do you have? So, if you don't have treasure, which the kids don't think you have treasure, if you don't have treasure, then why can't you risk contact to go save children from your planet?
Right. And then
What are
I guess
you
right now,
protecting?
and that's I guess now we can fast forward to Kim's lair where she is known to have artifacts from thousands of worlds. One of them happening to be something from At-Atten. She can't really place where At-Atten is, but she finds this long tapestry of like these 9 planets that form a circle and it had like all these this old ancient text. I guess really still Orabesh, but it describes something big having to do with At-Atten.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we can
like
actually confirm it is the old Republic.
yeah, and something about Ad-Atten was the only world left or something.
Yeah, yeah. The other planets were destroyed, except
Oof.
At-Atten because it was disguised under the barrier.
Yeah, that's, by the way, kind of technologically marvelous to be able to just hide a whole planet from the Empire, the New Republic, everything. Like, that's pretty crazy.
Enough so that the world itself, excuse me, At-Atten wasn't even aware of the Galactic Civil War.
Right. Or like if
I don't
some adults were like the kids, it wasn't like household news. That's crazy.
makes me wonder how much do they actually know of the outside world. Maybe they even missed the Clone Wars.
Yeah. Yeah. Like what all does the leadership know? That's what I want to know. And we didn't meet the leader of the planet yet, right? We met
Nope,
like the
that's
school headmaster.
yeah. Yeah, the mom's not headmaster. She's she's a higher up. I think she's something to do within the government itself. I think
Okay. Yeah, I would love to
she's an
know.
administrator. I think.
Right. I would love to know who's running this planet and how much they know about everything. If they know enough that they are not risking contact, then I don't know. What else? What are you hiding? What are you hiding on the planet?
I
What
was
is what's going on?
I was falling down the rabbit hole of people trying to come up with guesses, and some of them believe that At-Atten is the precursor to Exegol,
Hmm.
or at least how At-Atten, with its ancient money, finds a way to fund all the Sith warriors and stuff on Exegol, the Sith fleet.
Interesting. That would
It's like that's
be an interesting place to start. Like with and like, does that barrier maybe like eventually somehow turn into the storm that makes it difficult to enter and leave Exegol. Like
Right.
if someone found out where Ad-Atten was, and then they like tried to attack or something, and they destroy the barrier, does it become like just a less organized barrier, like a storm, like it messes with the atmosphere or the orbit around Ad-Atten
Right.
to that'd be cool.
Watch them have to find a Sith holocron to find
Yeah, right.
Ad-Atten.
If there's an old Jedi temple, I mean, maybe there's an old Sith temple somewhere. Yeah. Any predictions, specifically predictions for episode 4 or beyond? Like, I don't know about
I
Jod
think
or
I think episode 5 is where everything really gets revealed. We're going to find out who Jod is. We might get a cool cameo because that's usually what happens in episode 5 of everything.
it's true.
Episode 4, we're still not going to go to At-Atten because even though they got the chip, they're not going to go directly there. Something's going to throw them off course.
I don't think they're getting to Ad-Atten until the end. I think it's just like the Obi-Wan show where everything is a giant adventure until like the bad guy is vanquished and then they return after. So I think something's going to happen. Like maybe the ship is going to break down. Like they keep showing the dust. By the way, I love the dust that comes off the ship every time it jumps to hyperspace. That is the coolest little detail that just shows like, hey, this ship is old. This ship has been buried for many years. It was a huge amount of dust the first time, a little bit less the next time, a little bit like that's so realistic and just like a touch of detail and design that I thought was so cool. Just I never would have thought of that. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
But I think something's going to happen. This is my prediction for this episode, this next episode specifically. Something's going to happen technologically, like that the hyperdrive is going to fail, or they're going to run out of fuel, or something ship wise is going to happen so that they don't make it to the coordinates, even though Jod has the coordinates.
Right. I'm going to solidify mine, and then we'll talk about both of ours. This episode will probably have what you were talking about, but I feel like this episode is going to be more about the parents, more about the At-Atten stuff. Because I remember seeing some of that trailer. Remember the trailers of Wim's dad and Fern's mom discussing like what is going on with this place. There's something not right.
Yeah.
So this might be the episode.
Has to take place sometime.
I think it's going to start now. Episode 5 is going to be like the big thing, and then we're going to move forward to try to get everybody together again to beat the big baddie.
I think that's right. My wife pointed out this scene that I didn't really think much of. In that living room where all the parents are discussing things and the droid and whatever, and he's like, calm down, while everybody else is freaking out. Wim's dad is just sitting on the couch like thinking really hard, and they take a good little moment to show that. And so I think he's plotting and planning like, all right, it sounds like the government is not being totally honest here. Where do we go from here? And he's got some type of important job. So I think maybe he has some access that he might be able to see a little bit of stuff or figure out something before he gets flagged.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that makes sense. It could totally be a kid thing, like the parent thing where the kids get stuck out in space or have to make an emergency landing somewhere, and they can take that pretty slow cinematically.
Yeah, so the kids will be the B story this time around.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I just want to lock in my prediction that it's going to be a technical failure on the ship, and they're going to not make it to their destination. because it's too soon. They're not going back yet.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Otherwise, we wouldn't know that Smee's, like, keeps mentioning everything's failing. We're losing this. Life support system is this.
Yeah, they're clearly making it like they're setting it up that the ship is not in good shape. They're indicating that every single episode. So with the dust in space. Any last thoughts about this episode or the show? Or
I might go back and rewatch it tomorrow. I feel like I might have missed something else that might help get a good prediction in for next week.
Yeah. I had a toddler on my lap for a good amount of the rewatch, so I might jump on that train with you. Yeah, but that's episode 3. I love where the story's going. I'm very happy with all 3 so far. I'm into it. I'm hooked. I want to know. I want to know about the planet. I need to know. That's the biggest mystery to me, I think. Is Jada Jedi? I don't really care, but I want to know about this planet because you don't have like you don't have a mystery like that that often.
Isn't that something? We're both just like, is Jada Jedi? Does it really matter at this point? I feel like we don't really.
Yeah, but a planet that people just don't know about, like that's not like other than like Kamino in the Clone Wars, we haven't really heard about that before.
Right? I was just thinking about that. I remember Attack of the Clones, Yoda mentioning he's like, the gravity of Silhouette remains, but all the stars and planets disappeared. They have.
Yeah. Like
so they took it a step further.
Like how would, especially and it's even later now, like how do people not know this planet is here? Technologically speaking, like how is it not on scopes or anything? Like that's advanced stuff, but also very ancient stuff that I don't get it. I need to know. This is the mystery. I need to know it. All right. Anyway, that's our discussion on episode 3. And we're going to move to our last segment, Star Wars trivia. Take it away, Marty.
All right. So just like last week, in honor of us doing all this stuff for reviews for Skeleton Crew, I decided we're just going to do one-shot trivia, where it'll just be one question, where it's just one question about like one trivia question from the episode. And so this question is, my computer will make it go.
Go.
There we go. Besides Coruscant, what other planet did the kids say they learned about in school? Was it A, Alderaan, B, Naboo, C, Corellia, or D, Octo?
Before I say the answer to this funny quote that happened after, just going to give them a second to think about it and type in answers if they want to. But yeah. So I know the answer to this one. This is A, Alderaan. And it led to
correct.
Haha. Yeah, I happened to be paying attention for the second round on this one. But they who was it that they were talking to, Alderaan, and they were like, did we miss you missed a war? Oh yeah,
they were talking to Kim because they were talking about all this stuff.
Like Alderaan, like, did you miss the war? Like that was pretty funny.
I do like how it's funny that those were the only 2 planets they mentioned.
Yeah, like we know of Coruscant and Alderaan. I don't know exactly where Alderaan's located, but like Coruscant's in like the center of the core, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a core world
at least. Yeah, so like
Alderaan is mid-rim.
Yeah, so like those 2 planets are not near each other. So learning about other planets, that's cool, but you don't know any nearby. Those can't both be nearby planets, is what I'm saying, I guess.
Right. I guess we could start there and work your way back, maybe figure out the location. Like, hyperdrive lanes.
Maybe, but I feel like that's also just like in elementary school, they learn about some of the most important planets in history and has nothing to do with galactic geography.
I feel like really it was more than an hour. I feel like really though it's just been a throwaway line for a joke. Oh,
yeah, like a little reference. Yeah. All right. Let us know if you got the question right. And that, as my lightsaber is telling me, is our show for the week. We hope you enjoy what we're doing here, especially lately with these deep dives into this new show. I do love that we're doing this. I love that we can have this. We know Star Wars fandom and comment sections on the internet can sometimes get dark and toxic, but it doesn't have to be that way. We are trying to bring fun and positivity to the Star Wars side of the internet. Remember, there are more of us. I want to figure out a different way to say that line every week. There are more of us. That was weird. I don't like that one. Again, if you have anything at all for us, questions, requests, suggestions for segments, anything at all, throw them in the comments and we will see what we can do. As I said, follow us for follow S at SW Culture Live everywhere to follow this podcast, but also follow us personally on he's at Marty21794 on Instagram and TikTok and X, I guess. Kind of.
X is first and last name, but instead of Marty, it's Martin.
Martin Ingleston on X.
Yeah.
And then I am Nerdiest Stepdad, again, everywhere. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. I'm on X and Blue Sky kind of sometimes. But yeah, follow us and join us again next week, 7 p.m. Eastern, to celebrate the next episode of Skeleton Crew and the best of Star Wars culture. Have a good night.